Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. We're reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Translations and purports by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So, continuing from Adi-lila, chapter 10, the branches of the Caitanya tree. And we were just getting to a big branch by the name of Vasudev Datta. So let's hear about Vasudev Datta. Which ones? Text 41. Vasudeva Datta Prabhu Britya Mahashaya Sahasra Mukhe Yanra Guna Kahile Nahaya. Vasudev Datta, the 19th branch of the Sri Chaitanya tree, was a great personality and a most confidential devotee of the Lord. One could not describe his qualities even with thousands of mouths. Srila Prabhupada's purport. Vasudev Datta, the brother of Mukunda Datta, was also a resident of Chattagram. In the Chaitanya Bhagavata, it is said, Yanra stane Krishnahaya apane vikraya. Vasudev Datta was such a powerful devotee that Krishna was purchased by him. Vasudev Datta stayed at Srivas Pandit's house, and in the Chaitanya Bhagavata it is described that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so pleased with Vasudev Datta and so affectionate towards him that he used to say, My body is only meant to please Vasudev Datta, and he can sell me anywhere. Thrice he vowed that this was a fact, and that no one should disbelieve these statements. All my dear devotees, he said, I tell you the truth, my body is especially meant for Vasudev Datta. Vasudev Datta initiated Sri Yadunandana Acharya, the spiritual master of Raghunath Das, who later became Raghunath Das Goswami. This will be found in the Caitanya Charitamrita, Adi-lila, 6th chapter, verse 161. Vasudev Datta spent money very liberally. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Shivananda Sain to become his Sadakela, or secretary, in order to control his extravagant expenses. To take all the reactions so that they might be delivered by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is described in the 15th chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi-lila, verses 159 through 180. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes in his Anubhasya, there is a railway station named Purvastali near the Navadvip railway station, and about 1 mile away in a village known as Mamgachi, there is a birthplace of Vrindavan Das Thakur. There is presently a temple of Madan Gopal that was established by Vasudev Datta. The Gaudiya Mat devotees have now taken charge of this temple, and the Seva Puja is going on very nicely. Every year, all the pilgrims on the Navadvip Parikram visit Mamgachi. Since Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur inaugurated the Navadvip Parikram function, the temple has been very well managed. Vasudev Datta ki jai. So Vasudev Datta, yeah, Prabhupada talks about him. I think he won't talk about him so much in this section, but later on in the Madhya-lila, he comes up again. But yeah, Vasudev Datta, as Prabhupada mentions here, he offered this prayer to take all the sinful reactions of all the living entities in the world. Let him suffer. He said, let me suffer, and they will be free from all sinful reactions, and let me go to hell for many lifetimes so that they can be delivered. So Prabhupada said this was an amazing example of mercy and all the suffering fallen souls. And he said that Vasudev Datta excelled Jesus Christ in his mercy, because Christ agreed to accept the sinful reactions of his followers, Christians. But Vasudev Datta, he wanted to accept the sinful reactions of everyone. So, yeah.
That really he took away all the sins of the people so that people can get liberated. It's possible.
I think what happened was Lord Chaitanya said, well, he was like, that's a very heavy request, but because Vasudevadatta was such a surrendered soul, what happened was he took on the sinful reactions of the world, but then immediately, because he was so surrendered, Lord took all those reactions and freed him from all of it. But he didn't have to go to hell. He was just, that's what happens with the guru, right? When you take initiation. So that's why it's very important that the spiritual master be very surrendered to Krishna. A very nice devotee, because at the time of initiation, they agree to take on the sinful reactions of the disciple from all their previous lifetimes, all their karma. And if they're very surrendered, then Krishna immediately takes them away, because he says, Sarvadharma pratyajana vikam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuchaha. Then just surrender to me and I'll free you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear.
So the way spiritual master takes away all the sin when we get initiated, we start following. So did Jesus Christ also try to do the same by if people started following him, he would take away their sins. So is it like initiation he was trying to do at that time?
It's kind of like that. I mean, yeah, he was accepting them, right? Like if anybody, surrenders heart and soul to Jesus Christ, then, I'm pretty sure he doesn't reject them. So if he accepts them as his followers, as if they're true Christians, then he takes the sins of them.
Like I remember, I'm thinking, when Jada mother, at that time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu turned very black.
His body turned black.
Yeah, black.
Yeah, and then after a minute, it went away.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to show
that
how many sinful activities those guys had done.
Yeah, it comes in the future. Yeah,
okay, let's go
completely
ahead.
Black.
Jagate yateka jiva tara papalana naraka bunjita chahe jiva chadaiya.
Okay. Still, Vasudeva Datta Thakura wanted to suffer for the sinful activities of all the people of the world, so that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu might deliver them.
So it says for you. Harida Thakur Shakara Adbhuta Charita Tina Laksha Nama Tenho Laina Apatita.
It's wonderful. No ordinary man can stand so many minutes, nor should one artificially imitate Haridas Thakur's behavior. It is essential, however, that everyone fulfill a specific vow to chant the Hare Krishna mantra. Therefore, we have prescribed in our society that all our students must chant at least 16 rounds daily. Such chanting must be offenseless in order to be of high quality. Mechanical chanting is not as powerful as chanting. He stated in Caitanya Bhagavata Adi-lila chapter 2 that Haridas Thakura was born in a village known as Bhutana, but after some time came to live on the bank of the Ganges at Ulia near Shantipura. From the description of his chastisement by the Muslim magistrate, which is found in the 16th chapter of Adi Khanda of Caitanya Bhagavata, we can understand how humble and meek Haridas Thakur was and how he achieved the causeless mercy of the Lord. In the dramas performed by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Haridas Thakura played the part of a police chief. While chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra in Vena Pola, he was personally tested by Mayavadi himself. Haridas Thakur's passing away is described in the Adi-lila of Caitanya Caritamrita, 11th chapter. It is not definitely certain whether Sri Haridas Thakur appeared in the village named Budhana, that is in the district of Khulna. Formerly, this village was within a district of 24 Parganas within the Shat Satchira division.
They should hear about Haridas Thakur. We're going to be hearing a lot about Haridas Thakur as we go. 44.
Tanhara Ananta Guna Kahidinatra Acharya Gosaya Mridunjaya Shradhapatra.
There was no end to the Okay, I mentioned but a fraction of his qualities. He was so exalted that Advaita Goswami, when performing the Shraddha ceremony of his father, offered him the first plate.
The first plate in any of these ceremonies would go to a lot of people were surprised when Acharya offered it to Haridas Thakur because he was born in a Muslim family and he was considered by many to be an outcast, untouchable. He wasn't even allowed to enter the Jagannath temple. And yet Advaita Acharya gave him the first plate. So it's significant. And Advaita Acharya was respected by everyone. So when Advaita Acharya did that, then everybody was just like they couldn't dispute it. No one could say anything because Advaita Acharya was like the authority. Pralada samana tandra gunira taranga yavana tadre vyara natika bhuvanga. Persecuted by the Muslim ruler. Yeah, this Muslim ruler. We're gonna hear about it. Beat him in 22 different marketplaces with sticks. And he didn't protest. He didn't show any signs of pain. Nothing. Just like Prahlad when his father was trying to torture him so much, so many times, so many ways, trying to kill him in so many ways, and he never protested. He never cried. He never even flinched. Haridas Thakur was the same. And actually, Haridas Thakur is the incarnation of Prahlad Maharaj, combined with Lord Brahma.
Okay.
Tenho siddhi paila tandra deha nanakore nachira Caitanya Prabhu Mahakutu Hare.
After the passing away of Haridas Thakur, the Lord himself took his body on his lap and danced with it in great ecstasy.
So usually, like dead body is considered to be contaminated. Right? Even if you see a dead body, you're supposed to go take a bath before you enter the temple. It's like an offense to enter the temple after seeing a dead body. So, but Lord Chaitanya, he took Haridas Thakur's dead body in his arms, and he was holding like this, and he was dancing in ecstasy, chanting, doing kirtan. That's how pure Haridas Thakur was. Adi-lila varniyachena vrindavana dasa yeva avachishta age karika. Yes, would you like to read?
Sure. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur has vividly described the pastimes of Haridas Thakur in his Chaitanya Bhagavata. Whatever has remained undescribed, I shall try to explain later in this book.
Yeah, there's a lot of Chaitanya Bhagavata also about Haridas. Tanra upa shakayata kulina grama jana satyaraja adi tanra kripara bhajana. Vrindavan Natvar.
One sub-branch of Haridas Thakur consisted of the residents of Kulinagram. The most important among them was Satyaraj Khan or Satyaraj Vasu, who was the recipient of all the mercy of Haridas Thakur. Srila Prabhupada's purport. Satyaraj Khan was the son of Gunaraj Khan and father of Ramananda Vasu. Haridas Thakur lived for some time during the Chaturmas period in the village named Kulinagram, where he chanted the holy name, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and distributed his mercy to the descendants of the Vasu family. Satyaraj Khan was allotted the service of supplying silk ropes for the Jagannath deity during the Rath Yatra festival. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's answers to his inquiries about the duty of householder devotees are vividly described in the Adi-lila, chapters 15 and 16. The village of Kulinagram is situated 2 miles from the railway station named Jogram on the New Cord line from Howrah to Burdwan. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very highly praised the people of Kulinagram, and he stated that even a dog of Kulinagram was very dear to him.
Jai. Rajan, I was thinking, we were just talking about what a great personality Haridas Thakur was, and then now we hear about this Satyaraj Khan, who it says was a recipient of all the mercy of Haridas Thakur. Imagine getting all the mercy of someone so amazing as Haridas Thakur. The perfection of life, right? To get the mercy of the pure devotee. So, yeah, Haridas Thakur lived in his village for some time. And yeah, looks like Satyaraj Khan would go and visit Haridas Thakur and maybe serve him, maybe chant with him. Maybe Haridas Thakur was staying in their house. Not the details aren't given, but somehow there was a nice connection there. Text 49. Shri Murari Gupta Shaka Premera Bhandara Prabhurari Daya Drave Shuni Danya Yandra Divya.
Hi, Krishna. So sorry, Prabhupada Priya. I'm just making garlands, so I'll just be listening. If That's okay.
No worries.
Thank you.
Arjuna, are you able to read?
Yes. Murari Gupta, the 21st branch of the tree of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, was a storehouse of love of Godhead. His great humility and meekness melted the heart of Lord Chaitanya. Sri Murari Gupta wrote a book called Sri Chaitanya Charita. He belonged to a Vaidya physician family of Srihat, the paternal home of Lord Chaitanya, and later became a resident of Navadvip. He was among the elders of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Chaitanya exhibited his Varaha form in the house of Murari Gupta as described in the Chaitanya Bhagavat Madhya Khanda, 3rd chapter. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited his Mahaprakash form, he appeared before Murari Gupta as Lord Ramachandra. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu were sitting together in the house of Srivas Thakur, Murari Gupta first offered his respects to Lord Chaitanya and then to Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda Prabhu, however, was older than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and therefore Lord Chaitanya remarked that Murari Gupta had violated social etiquette, for he should have first shown respect to Nityananda Prabhu and then to him. In this way, by the grace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Murari Gupta was informed about the position of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, and the next day he offered obeisances first to Lord Nityananda and then to Lord Chaitanya. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave shood pan or betel nut to Murari Gupta. Once, Shivananda Sena offered food to Lord Chaitanya that had been cooked with excessive ghee, and the next day the Lord became sick and went to Murari Gupta for treatment. Lord Chaitanya accepted some water from the water pot of Murari Gupta, and thus he was cured. The natural remedy for indigestion is to drink a little water. And since Murari Gupta was a physician, he gave the Lord some drinking water and cured him. Not in America, but sure. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in the house of Srivas Thakur in his Chaturbush Murti, Murari Gupta became his carrier in the form of Garuda. And in this pastimes of ecstasy, the Lord then got up on his back. It was the desire of Murari Gupta to leave his body before the disappearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but the Lord forbade him to do so. This is described in the Chaitanya Bhagavat Madhya Khanda, chapter 20. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu one day appeared in ecstasy as the Varaha Murti, Murari Gupta offered him prayers. He was a great devotee of Lord Ramachandra, and his staunch devotion is vividly described in the Caitanya Caritamrita Adi-lila, 15th chapter, verses 137 through 157.
Yeah, Murari Gupta is a very prominent personality in Lord Chaitanya's pastimes. He lived there in Navadvip. His house is still there. Temple of Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman is still there, not far from our Mayapur, ISKCON Mayapur. And he was a doctor and said that he would cure the body and also the soul. He would cure the physical disease of the body and also cure the material disease of the conditioned soul. So And yeah, we'll hear when we get to Adi-lila, we'll hear about how Murari Gupta, he was such a staunch devotee of Lord Ramachandra, Sitaram. So he was worshipping deities of Sitaram. And then Lord Chaitanya, he was promoting the worship of Radha and Krishna. So then he said to Murari Gupta, he said, oh, you should forget about Sitaram and you worship Radha and Krishna, because Radha and Krishna are the origin, and so are Sitaram are included in Radha Krishna. So just worship Radha and Krishna, the highest original Supreme Personality of Godhead and his original Adi Shakti, Supreme Consort. And so Murari Gupta loved Lord Chaitanya so much that he was really trying to follow his instruction. He was really trying very hard, and he put aside his trying to worship, but he was just being tormented in his heart and mind the whole time. He was just like, he was feeling so bad, neglecting Sitaram, and he was having dreams about it, and he was so disturbed. And then he's like, but I have to follow the orders of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's my life and soul, and I don't want to displease him. Anyways, he was trying and trying and trying. After some days, he just went to Lord Chaitanya, and he's just like, my Lord, I'm sorry, I cannot fulfill your instruction because I've sold my head at the lotus feet of Lord Ramachandra, and I can't take them away. And then Lord Chaitanya said, don't worry, Murari Gupta, this is very fitting because actually you are Hanuman. So he's an incarnation of Hanuman in Caitanya Lila. So impossible for Hanuman to worship anyone except Sitaram.
Can you also say the story of Vara? What is like the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared?
Yeah, so Lord Chaitanya, different times, he displayed different incarnations to different people. And yeah, he manifested the Varaha, boar incarnation form to Murari Gupta one day. That's described in the Chaitanya Mangala by Lochan Das Thakur. Yeah, I'm sure it's also there in Chaitanya Bhagavat. Yeah, we heard about that. But I read it in Chaitanya Mangala. So yeah, he manifests his form of Varahadev. He manifests his form as Lord Ramachandra during the Mahaprakash form. And he also manifested four-armed form. And then when he manifested his four-armed form of Lord Vishnu, then Murari Gupta pretended that he was Garuda, and Lord Chaitanya got on his back. Went for a ride. So yeah. I think the only of Lord Chaitanya's devotees that left their bodies before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was Haridas Thakur. Even the ones that were older than him, like, Jagannath Mishra left. Definitely Jagannath Mishra left. His mother didn't leave before him. Advaitacharya didn't leave before him. Srimad Thakur didn't leave. Because Lord Chaitanya didn't stay very long. He only stayed 48 years. So even his parents, they were only like 60s or 70s when he disappeared. And his mother.
Is there any description of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu living their body?
Yeah, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu entered into the deity of Tota Gopinath in Puri, the deity that was worshipped by Gadadhar Pandit. And Nityananda Prabhu entered into the deity of Bankim Roy in Ekachakra. Text 50. Pratigraha nahi kare nalaya karadana atma vritti kari kare kutumba bharana. We got there. Hannah.
Okay. Srila Murari Gupta never accepted charity from friends, nor did he accept money from anyone. He practiced as a physician and maintained his family with his earnings. Report, it should be noted that a grihasta householder must not make his livelihood by begging from anyone. Every householder of the higher caste should engage himself in his own occupational duty as a brahmana, kshatriya, or vaishya, but he should not engage in the service of others, for this is the duty of a sudra. One should simply accept whatever he earns by his own profession. The engagements of a brahmana are yagya, patana, and dana, and pratigraha. A brahmana should never be a Brahmana should be a worshipper of Vishnu, and he should also instruct others how to worship him. A Kshatriya can become a landholder and earn his livelihood by levying taxes or collecting rent from tenants. A Vaishya can accept agriculture or general trade as an occupational duty. Since Murari Gupta was born in a physician's family, Vaidya Vamsa, he practiced as a physician. And with whatever income he earned, he maintained his family. As stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam, everyone should try to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the execution of his occupational duty. That is the perfection of life. This system is called Daivi Varnashrama. Murari Gupta was an ideal grihasta, for he was a great devotee of Lord Ramachandra and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. By practicing as a physician, he maintained his family and at the same time satisfied Lord Chaitanya to the best of his ability. This is the ideal of householder life.
He's a good example of career dharma. He was doing his occupation according to his nature, and he was connecting it to Krishna and worshipping the Lord Ramachandra, Lord Chaitanya. Also, he was giving free medical treatment to Lord Chaitanya and the devotees. And he was earning his livelihood honestly and maintaining his family simply without asking for anything. Okay, text 51. Chikitsa karena yade haya sadaya deharoga bhavaroga duitara shaya. As Murari Gupta treated his patients, by his mercy, both their bodily and spiritual diseases subsided. Purport. Murari Gupta could treat both bodily and spiritual disease because he was a physician by profession and a great devotee of the Lord in terms of spiritual advancement. This is an example of service to humanity. Everyone should know that there are two kinds of diseases in human society. One disease, which is called Adhyatmika or material disease, pertains to the body. But the main disease is spiritual. The living entity is eternal, but somehow or other, when in contact with the material energy, he is subjected to the repetition of birth, death, old age, and disease. The physicians of the modern day should learn from Murari Gupta. Although modern philanthropic physicians open gigantic hospitals, there are no hospitals to cure the material disease of the spirit soul. The Krishna consciousness movement has taken up the mission of curing this disease, but people are not very appreciative because they do not know what this disease is. A diseased person needs both proper medicine and a proper diet, and therefore the Krishna consciousness movement supplies materially stricken people with the medicine of the chanting of the holy name or the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and the diet of prasadam. There are many hospitals and medical clinics to cure bodily diseases, but there are no such hospitals to cure the material disease of the spirit soul. The centers of the Krishna consciousness movement are the only established hospitals that can cure man of birth, death, old age, and disease. Yeah. Prabhupada said that our ISKCON temples are all hospitals. Material disease people come in and get cured. Everybody's suffering from material conditioning. So yeah, when you come to just like when you go to the hospital, don't expect to find a lot of healthy people. Everybody's there sick. Yeah. So when you come to the temple, don't be surprised. If people interact with you in sometimes unhealthy ways. But at least they're in the right place, right? Sadhu Sangha ki jai. Text 52. Shriman Sena Prabhura Sevaka Pradana Chaitanya Charana Vinu Nahi Jane Ana.
Sriman Sena, the 22nd branch of the Chaitanya tree, was very faithful servant of Lord Chaitanya. He knew nothing else but the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Purport. Sriman Sena was one of the inhabitants of Navadvip and was a constant companion of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Vidara Dasa Shakha Savo Pari Adi-lila Mukherjee Adi-lila Hari.
Sri Gadadhar Dasa, the 23rd branch, was understood to be the topmost, for he induced all the Muslim Qazis to chant the holy name of the Lord Hari. Purport. About 8 or 10 miles from Calcutta, on the banks of the Ganges, is a village known as Indiyadaha Grama. Srila Gadadhar Dasa was known as an inhabitant of this village. The Bhakti Ratnakara seventh wave informs us that after the disappearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gadadhar Das went from Navadip to Katwa. Thereafter, he came to Indiyadaha and resided there. He is stated to be the lustrous of the body of Srimati Radharani, just as Srila Gadadhar Pandita Goswami is an incarnation of Srimati Radharani herself. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is sometimes explained to be Radha Bhava Drishti Shivalita, or characterized by the emotions and bodily lusters of Srimati Radharani. Gadadhar Dasa is this beauty or luster. In the Gaura Ganodesha Deepika 154, he is described to be an expansion of the potency of Srimati Radharani. He counts among the associates of both Sri Gaurahari and Nityananda Prabhu. As a devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was one of the associates of Lord Krishna in conjugal love. And as a devotee of Lord Nityananda, he is considered to have been one of the friends of Krishna in pure devotional service. Even though he was an associate of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, he was not among the cowherd boys but was situated in the transcendental mellow of conjugal love. He established a temple of Sri Gaurasundara in Katwa. In 1434 Sakabda, AD 1512, when Lord Nityananda Prabhu was empowered by Lord Chaitanya to preach the Sankirtan movement in Bengal, Sri Gadadhar Dasa was one of the Lord Nityananda's chief assistants. He preached the Sankirtan movement by requesting everyone to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. This simple preaching method of Srila Gadadhar Dasa can be followed by anyone and everyone in any position of society. One must simply be sincere and serious servant of Nityananda Prabhu and preach this cult door to door. When Srila Gadadhar Dasa Prabhu was preaching the cult of Hare Kirtana, there was a magistrate who was very much against his Sankirtana movement. Following in the footsteps of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Gadadhar Dasa one night went to the house of the Qazi and requested him to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. The Qazi replied, "All right, I shall chant the Hare Krishna tomorrow." On hearing this, Srila Gadadhar Das Prabhu began to dance, and he said, "Why tomorrow? You have already chanted the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So simply continue." In the Gaura Ganodesha Deepika verses 154 to 55, it is said, oh, okay. Sheila the Gadadhar Dasa is considered to be a united form of Chandrakanti, who is the effulgence of Srimati Radharani, and Purnananda, who is the foremost of Lord Balaram's very dear girlfriends. Thus, Sheila Gadadhar Dasa Prabhu was one of the associates of both Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. Once, while Srila Gadadhar Dasa Prabhu was returning to Bengal from Jagannath Puri with Nityananda Prabhu, he forgot himself and began talking very loudly as if he were a girl of Rasabhumi selling yogurt. And Srila Nityananda Prabhu noted this. Another time, while observing the ecstasy of the gopis, he carried a jug filled with Ganges water on the Mahaprabhu in the house of Raghava Pandita while going to Vrindavana. Gadadhar Dasa went to see him, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so glad that he put his foot on his head. When Gadadhar Dasa Prabhu was present in the India Daha, he established a Bala Gopala Murti for worship there. Sri Madhava Gosa performed a drama known as Dhana Khanda with the help of Sri Nityananda Prabhu and Sri Gadadhar Dasa. This is explained in the Chaitanya Bhagavata Antya. The tomb of Gadadhar Dasa Prabhu, which is in the village of India Daha, was under the control of some yogi Vaishnavas and later under the direction of Siddha Bhagwan Das Babaji of Khalna. By his order, Sri Madhusudana Mullik, one of the members of the aristocratic Mullik family of the Narikela Danga in Calcutta, established a Pathavadi monastery there in the Bengali year 1256. He also arranged for the worship of a deity named Sri Radha Kanta. His son Balai Chanda will establish Gauranitai deities there in the Bengali year 1312, 1905 AD.
Thus, on the throne of the temple are both the Gaura Nityananda deities and Radha Krishna deities. Below the throne is a tablet with an inscription written in Sanskrit. In that temple, there is also a small deity of Lord Shiva as Gopeshwara. This is all described on a stone by the side of the entrance door.
I was very curious because usually most of, not all, but most of the close associates of Lord Chaitanya are um, cowherd girls and Braj.
Yeah.
And most of the associates of Lord Nityananda, those ones are cowherd boys. So it says here that he was an associate of, as a devotee of Lord Chaitanya, he was one of the associates of Krishna in conjugal love. As a devotee of Lord Nityananda, he is considered to have been one of the friends of Krishna in pure devotional service, but he was not a cowherd boy. He was in, so I was thinking, wait, how is he associate of Lord, a friend of Lord Nityananda, a friend of Krishna, but he's not a cowherd boy. He's in conjugal love. And then I was like, oh yeah, because he's a, and we hear here that he's one of Lord Balaram's girlfriends. So he's a combined form of one of Krishna's girlfriends and one of Balaram's girlfriends.
Oh,
Very interesting. Right?
What's happening?
yeah.
Sometimes he would be more in touch with his eternal form in Krishna Lila as a gopi, and he would forget that he was in Chaitanya Lila as a, male person, brahmacharya, whatever he was. And that he would start going around with a pot on his head, saying, yogurt, yogurt. Anybody want yogurt? First turn. Vanandasena Prabhu Vidya Antaranga Prabhu Satyayate Sabe.
Shivananda Sena, the 24th branch of the tree, was an extremely confidential servant of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Everyone who went to Jagannath Puri to visit Lord Chaitanya took shelter and guidance from Sri Shivananda Sena.
All of the Chaitanya's associates from Navadvip.
Vashe Prabhu Dana Sangat Laliya Nilachale Chaya Kavade Palana Kariya.
Every year he took a party of devotees from Bengal to Jagannath Puri to visit Lord Chaitanya. He maintained the entire journey on the road. Yeah, so he would arrange everything for the road. Walk. But it would take some time to say how long. Anyways, he would arrange for their food, he would arrange their accommodations, he would arrange for everything. Someone got hurt, he would arrange for medical care, and he was even taking care of a dog that was following him.
A lot of responsibility.
Yeah, he would arrange. Sometimes they had to cross like state borders, and then there were like
Need to pay the
Muslim
taxes.
tax collectors, he would deal with the taxes, and he was public officials. We would like boats, they'd cross rivers, and exchange the boats, load everybody on. Te kripa karana madhu etina swarupe sakshar avesha ara avirbhava rupe.
Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bestows his causeless appearance, Sakshar, his cross within someone he empowers, Avesha, and his manifestation, Avirbhava. Purport. The Sakshat feature of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is his personal presence. Avesha refers to invested power, like that invested in Nakula Brahmachari. Avirbhav is a manifestation of the Lord that appears even though he is personally not present. For example, Sri Shachi Mata offered food at home to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, although he was far away in Jagannath Puri. And when she opened her eyes after offering the food, she saw that it had actually been eaten by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Similarly, when Srivas Thakur performed Sankirtan, everyone felt the presence of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even in his absence. This is another example of Avirbhava.
57. Dakshate sakala bhakta deke nirvishesha nakula brahmachari dehe prabhura avesha. Vrindavan Natvar.
The appearance of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in every devotee's presence is called sakshat. His appearance in Nakula Brahmachari as a symptom of special prowess is an example of avesha.
Yeah, it said that Lord Chaitanya entered into the body of this Nakula Brahmachari. And he knew, Lord Chaitanya spoke, and he was through the mouth of Nakula Brahmachari saying that, I can't remember who he's talking to, but he's talking to some intimate associate of his. And he said, I'm the same as Lord Chaitanya. And then this devotee tested him, he said that there's some information about himself or something that happened that only Lord Chaitanya knew. No one else knew. It was a very confidential secret that they two had. He said, oh, if you're Lord Chaitanya, then tell me this. And he told him, and he was like, oh.
So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would enter into another person's body.
I mean, I don't think he did it a lot, but there were a few people that did that. Pradyumna Brahmachari Tanra Age Namachila Nirsinghananda Nama Prabhu Pacheta Rakila. Nikesh?
The former Pradyumna Brahmachari was given the name Narsimananda Brahmachari by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Tanhate Harila Chaitanyara Avirbhava Alokika Aiche Prabhu Aneka Swabhava. Arjuna, you were able to read?
Yes.
Okay.
In his body, there were symptoms of Avirbhav. Such appearances are uncommon, but Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu displayed many such pastimes through his different features. In the Gaura Ganadesh Dipika 73 through 74, it is said that Nakula Brahmachari displayed the prowess Avesha and Pradyumna Brahmachari the appearance Avirbhav of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There are many hundreds and thousands of devotees of Lord Chaitanya, among whom there are no special symptoms. But when a devotee of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu functions with specific prowess, he displays a feature called Avesh. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally spread the Sankirtan movement, and he advised all the inhabitants of Bharatvarsha to take up his cult and preach it all over the world. The visible bodily symptoms of devotees who follow such instructions are called avesh. Srila Shivananda Sena observed such avesh symptoms in Nakula Brahmachari, who display symptoms exactly like those of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Caitanya Caritamrita states that in the age of Kali, the only spiritual function is to broadcast the holy name of the Lord, but this function can be performed only by one who is actually empowered by Lord Krishna. The process by which the devotee is thus empowered is called avesh, or sometimes it is called shakti avesh. Pradyumna Brahmachari was formerly a resident of a village known as Piyariganya in Kalna. There is a description of him in the Adi-lila of Sri Chaitanya Caritamrita, 2nd chapter, and in the Antya-khanda of Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, chapters 3 and 9.
Shakti Avesh. They're empowered by the Lord with special potencies to be able to fulfill some function of his mission, which Srila Prabhupada says is to broadcast the holy name of the Lord. And we can see that Srila Prabhupada was also, by what he did, he was definitely Avesh, he was Shakti Avesh. He was empowered with the potency of the Lord to be able to spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. It's not a rare thing, right? Sometimes we go out and just one of us and we're struggling to distribute a few books, you know. And Srila Prabhupada was able to make thousands of devotees and open up 108 temples and farm communities and schools and restaurants all over the world. Huh? Not eat everything. Yeah. Huh? 80 books. Wrote 80 books. Yeah. Yeah. Barely slept. Imagine not sleeping for 11 years, like hardly sleeping. Sleeping like 2 hours a night for like 11 years straight.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How is it possible to sleep 2 hours?
Yeah, well, that's what we're saying is that Srila Prabhupada wasn't an ordinary person. He was Shakti Avesh Avatar. He was an empowered personality. That's not possible for an ordinary person. Text 60. Asvadila e sabarasa sena shivananda vistari kaiva age e sava ananda. Sneha.
Yeah, Prabhupada. Srila Shivanand Sena experienced the three features of Shakshat, Avesha, Avirbhava. Later, I shall vividly describe this transcendently blissful subject. Purport. Srila Shivanand Sena has been described by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj as follows. Shivanand Sena was a resident of Kumarhatta, which is also known as Hali Sahara, and was a great devotee of the Lord. About 1.5 miles from Kumarata is another village known as Kanchanapada, which is in which there are Gaur Gopal deities installed by Shivanand Sena, who also established a temple of Krishnaraya. This is still existing. Shivanand Sena was the father of Parmanand Sena, who was also known as Puridas or Kavi Karnapura. Parmanand Sena wrote in his Gaur Ganodesha Deepika that two of the gopis of Vrindavan, whose former names were Veera and Duti, combined to become his father. Srila Shivanand Sena guided all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya who went from Bengal to Jagannath Puri, and he personally bore all the expenses for their journey. This is
Not only did
described
he
in the
arrange it, he also paid for it. Go ahead.
This is described in the Caitanya Charitamrita, Adi-lila, chapter 16, verse 19 through 17. Shivanand Sena had three sons named Chaitanya Das, Ram Das, and Parmanand. As mentioned above, this last son later became Kavi Karnapura and wrote Gaur Ganodesha Deepika. His spiritual master was Srinath Pandit, who was Shivanand Sena's priest. Due to Vasudev Datta's lavish spending, Shivanand Sena was engaged to supervise his expenditures. Shivanand Sena actually experienced Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's features of Sakshat, Avesha, and Avirbhava. He once took along a dog while on his way to Jagannath Puri, and it is described in Adi-lila first chapter that this dog later attained salvation by his association. When Srila Raghunath Das, who later became Raghunath Das Goswami, fled his paternal home to join Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. His father wrote a letter to Shivanand Sena to get information about him. Shivanand Sena supplied him the details for which he asked, and later Raghunath Das Goswami's father sent some servants and money to Shivanand Sena to take care of Raghunath Das Goswami. Once Sri Shivanand Sena invited Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to his home, and fed him so sumptuously that the Lord felt indigestion and was somewhat sick. This became known to Shivanand Sena's eldest son, Chaitanya Das, who gave the Lord the three kinds of food that would help his digestion. And just Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very pleased. This is described in Adi-lila 10th chapter verses 142 through 151. Once while going to Jagannath Puri, all the devotees had to stay underneath a tree without the shelter of a house or even a shed. And Nityanand Prabhu became very angry, as if he were greatly disturbed by hunger. Thus he cursed Shivananda's sons to die. Shivananda's wife was very much aggrieved by this, and she began to cry. She very seriously thought that since her sons had been cursed by Nityanand Prabhu, certainly they would die. When Shivanand later returned and saw his wife crying, he asked, "Why are you crying? Let us all die if Sri Nityananda Prabhu desires." When Shivanand Sena returned home and Srila Nityanand Prabhu saw him, the Lord kicked him severely, complaining that he was very hungry, and asked why he had not arranged for his food. Thus is such is the behavior of the Lord with his devotees. Srila Nityanand Prabhu behaved like an ordinary hungry man, as if completely dependent on the arrangement of Shivanand Sena. A nephew of Shivanand Sena's, named Sri Kanta, left the company in protest of Nityananda Prabhu's curse and went directly to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Jagannath Puri, where the Lord pacified him. On that occasion, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu allowed his toe to be sucked by Puri Das, who was then a child. It is by the order of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that he could immediately compose Sanskrit verses. During the misunderstanding with Shivanand's family, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered his personal attendant, Govinda, to give them all the remnants of his food. This is described in Adi-lila, chapter 12, verse 53. Jai.
So a lot of happenings going on here. So first of all, yeah, Shivananda Sen, yeah, the one who had arranged all the travel arrangements for them when they went from Navadvip to Puri. He had 3 sons, and he's mainly talking about the youngest son, Paramananda Sen, who is also called Puri Das, who also came to be known as Kavi Karnapur, because he was just a small child at the time. So they were all traveling together, and he was a small child. So when they got to Puri and Jagannath Puri, and they met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then Lord Chaitanya allowed him to suck his toe. Little babies like to suck things. So baby Puri was crawling around on the ground, and then he came up to the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya and he started sucking his toe, and Lord Chaitanya just let him suck it. He put his toe in his mouth. So he got Lord Chaitanya's mercy, and Lord Chaitanya bestowed upon him the ability to be able to immediately compose Sanskrit verses. So that's how Puri Das came to be known as Kavi Karnapur, because Kavi means poet, and he was able to compose beautiful Sanskrit poetry. And so this Kavi Karnapur, the youngest son of Shivananda Sen, he I was reading from a book in the temple room about the Brajvasis traveling from Gokul to Vrindavan, and I read a beautiful description there. So that was from the book Ananda Vrindavan Champu, and the author was Kavi Karnapur. So that book is like, you see, there were so many details there. So that's kind of like the signature style of Kavi Karnapur, is that he uses a lot of beautiful descriptive words, and he gets really into the descriptions of the sights and the sounds and the smells and what people are doing and the moods and all this. So yeah, and he uses a lot of beautiful like metaphors, and yeah, we're indebted to him. And he also wrote the book Gorganadesh Dipika, the one that Prabhupada keeps referring to, saying that this person is such and such person in Krishna Lila. So that was written by Kavi Karnapur. Somehow or other, he got the vision of who everybody is, and he wrote the book saying who everyone is. And he said that his father, interesting, it must have been so interesting for him that his father was in Vrindavan, he's the combined form of 2 gopis in Vrindavan, Veera and Duti. Imagine seeing that your father is like the combined form of 2 gopis in Vrindavan. So yeah, then he starts telling, this pastime will be described later, about how Shivananda Sen was arranging accommodations and food, but this particular day they were in a very remote place and there was no place to stay. They were like just in the forest, and night fell, and what could they do? They couldn't go more, they had to stop. So then the best Shivananda Sen could do was find a nice tree for them to all camp out underneath big, tree that would keep them a little sheltered from the dew or something like that. Yelled at Shiva, like, what is this? We don't have a place to sleep. We don't have food to eat. I curse your whole family to die. But Shivananda Sen was not at all distressed. He was thinking, oh, this is a great blessing if Nityananda wants us to die. But then, see, there was somebody that didn't. Oh, and then afterwards, he kicked Shivananda Sen in the chest, saying, you didn't arrange for my food. So this was actually a loving exchange between Lord Nityananda and Shivananda Sen, because Lord Nityananda is God. He doesn't need to eat. He doesn't need to have accommodations. He can make the best accommodations, just like that. But he's playing the part of being dependent on his devotee. This is very, very sweet how the Lord agrees to become subordinate to his devotee, as if the devotee is his caretaker, and just like Krishna becomes dependent on Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj, so Lord Nityananda is playing that part. And I have a feeling that these two gopis, Veera and Duti, are older gopis, like Mother Yashoda's friends, older gopis who are like mothers. So Shivananda Sen has this parental mood towards the Lord. He wants to take care of the Lord and all the devotees. And so, there was one devotee who was there who saw all this. He heard that Nityananda Prabhu cursed Shivananda Sen's family to die, and he saw that Nityananda kicked him in the chest, and he got very upset. He's like, what is this? This is wrong. I don't want to, I'm not feeling safe with this passionate person, Nityananda. I'm going on ahead. So then he went ahead and he got to Lord Chaitanya first, because Nityananda and Shivananda, they were all with a big group, so the big group travels a little slowly. He went on ahead, he got there first, and Lord Chaitanya pacified him. Don't you worry, Nityananda, he's a little bit of an avadut, but his heart is right. He said. So and then when they got there, then Lord Chaitanya already had a heads up that Shivananda Sen's wife was a little distressed, and maybe the children were also a little afraid, seeing the mother crying and not understanding what's going on. So as soon as they got there, then Lord Chaitanya gave the whole family, gave Shivananda Sen's family all the remnants of his food, and then they were happy. The remnants from his personal plate. Hannah.
When you were talking about this, I also was like, what the heck? Lord Nityananda. Because we always hear Lord Nityananda is the most merciful. But then I was like, I don't love this behavior. So I also felt like that devotee who was like going to Lord Chaitanya, like, I don't know about this. So I was just really appreciating how surrender doesn't always mean like like acceptance. Sometimes surrender is like uncertainty, and sometimes it's like, I don't know. So I love how he went to Lord Chaitanya and got pacified. I just appreciated that, because sometimes, you feel like maybe when you're new, like, oh, I don't understand this, but maybe I should just accept it. But you can actually go deeper if you are surrendered, in the sense that you're really honest about how something made you feel. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, sometimes devotees, like when the relationship is very close, like Nityananda and Shivananda saying, that sometimes there's some playful dealings, some rough play, like you will shout at the person or push the person around or something like that. And somebody who doesn't understand the relationship, and they might become afraid, right? Like sometimes that happens. Anyways, that has happened here at Krishna House sometimes. Like I'll say something to someone, I'll say some comment that sounds like a little heavy, but that person knows that I love them and I'm just joking or playing. But somebody else is like, oh, I don't feel safe here. Right. Like today I called Pragati greedy. And then I was looking around thinking, oh, is there anybody here who's going to stand But it was only Arjuna and Narottam.
If you don't say that, we will.
What's that?
If you don't say that, then we'll be confused. What's wrong?
if I don't tease you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who sees us?
Kali is a new girl. So,
oh yeah.
And then we were playing with darts, and I said, Arjuna Prabhu, open your mouth.
He did what?
I said, okay, now I'm throwing at you. And Tali said that, okay, I don't feel safe here.
Oh, yeah, we have to be careful with new people,
Yeah.
especially the Westerners. They're very sensitive. Oh my God, I was always getting into trouble with Daniel.
Oh.
Okay, yeah. So, all right, Krishna. Text 61. Oh, it's 7 o'clock. Yeah, we better stop. All right, because now we're going to go to sub
Who
branches.
said that? Why did you say that? I was like gonna let Prabhupada Priya keep going.
Why did I say what?
Somebody said, "Oh, it's 7." Who said that? Why'd you?
That was Mother by Day. She's on a tight schedule. She always has to leave at 7 on the dot. That's okay, Hannah. We'll be doing it again tomorrow.
I've missed you, Prabhupada Priya. My life is so boring without these readings.
Yeah, I was also feeling the separation over that long 4 days. I was like, oh, I can't wait to get back to the Chaitanya Charitamrita. I'm so sorry about that, but it was just not possible. Wow, this branches chapter is a long one. Branches of the Chaitanya tree, and then we go into the expansions of Lord Nityananda. And then the expansions of Advaita Acharya and Gadadhar Pandit. But I like these hearing about these. Oh, then we're going to get into the Advent. So by chapter 13, the birth of Lord Chaitanya, and then it's going to go straight to all his pastimes, childhood pastimes. But it's nice hearing all the names of these personalities because it's a little bit of a sneak preview, right? It's like we get to learn a little bit about who they are, and then later when we hear the pastimes about them, then we're already like, oh yeah, that person. Oh yeah, they're like an old friend already. So you heard something familiar with the name. Okay, so we shall continue tomorrow from text 61. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Shri Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Oh.